Right, we now come to business questions. Shadow Leader of the House, Jesse Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the Leader give the House the forthcoming business?
Mr. Speaker, the business for the week commencing the 26th of January will include Monday the 26th of January, second reading of the Armed Forces Bill, Tuesday the 27th of January, consideration of an allocation of time motion, followed by all stages of the Medical Training Prioritisation Bill, Wednesday the 28th of January, Opposition Day in the name of the official opposition, the subject to be announced, Thursday the 29th of January, a general debate on Holocaust Memorial Day. The subject for this debate was determined by the Backbench Business Committee. Friday the 30th of January, the House will not be sitting. And the provisional business for the week commencing the 2nd of February includes Monday the 2nd of February, if necessary, consideration of Lord's messages to the Diego Garcia military base and British Indian Ocean Territory Bill, followed by consideration of Lord's amendments to the Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction Bill. Tuesday the 3rd of February, second reading of the Universal Credit Removal of Two-Child Limit Bill. Wednesday the 4th of February, Opposition Day in the name of the official opposition, the subject to be announced. Thursday the 5th of February, a general debate on road safety, followed by a general debate on obligations to assess the risk of genocide under international law in relation to the occupied Palestinian territories. The subject for these debates were determined by the Backbench Business Committee, and Friday the 6th of February, the House will not be sitting.
Jesse Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the Leader for that update. The House will know that I am obsessive about improving education, skills and life opportunities for young people, and I know the Leader, with his own background, shares that passion. So I can't let this week pass without noting that on Tuesday, our new specialist technology and engineering university in Hereford, NMITE, formally launched its new autonomous robotics degree, sponsored, designed and delivered in collaboration with the British Army. I thank the Defence Ministerial team and in particular the Minister for Armed Forces for coming up to Hereford and supporting with that. I believe this is the UK's first undergraduate drones technologies degree. Starts in September 2026. That's light speed compared to the normal progression of these things in higher education, and it will be of inestimable value not only to young people up and down the country, but to the defence of the realm and in a host of other sectors, including food and agriculture, infrastructure and energy. But otherwise, Mr. Speaker, what a week this has been. Rising international tensions, heated public disagreement, desperate attempts at diplomatic solutions, and that's just Brooklyn Beckham's Instagram account. Talking of elites, Mr. Speaker, we've had the amusing spectacle this week of that self-proclaimed friend of the people, the member for Clacton, hoovering up the free food and glugging down the champagne with the global bullshitterati in Davos.
No, I've not even spoken. I'm going to speak first. I want temperate language, and I'm sure you'd love to withdraw that little message you have for us. Shadow Leader.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to exercise my quadriceps several occasions. Yes, of course I withdraw.
Oh, that's good.
Appalling term, and I unhesitatingly withdraw it from the record. All this, I should say, Mr. Speaker, comes from the Honourable Member for Clacton after a lifetime spent denouncing Davos as a hub of evil globalist elites, where, in his words, there's no space for the little man. Well, at least we know that's not true anymore. Oh, the irony of it all, Mr. Speaker. A wildly anti-establishment figure, a long-time member of the Reform Club, no relation, now joining the globalist elites. Can it be long before he aspires to join the Garrick Club, or indeed join the Prime Minister in professing publicly that he prefers Davos to Westminster? But amid all this nonsense, very serious other changes are underway. Last week, the government published the results of the latest auction for renewable energy. This set a floor price for renewables of £91 per kilowatt hour. No one in this House disputes the importance of green energy or the importance of renewables in the energy max. No, few sane people dispute the value of green energy. But energy prices are already unfeasibly high for British businesses, and despite the government's promises, they are set to go higher still, especially once the cost of new nuclear is added in. The effect of this policy will be to punish taxpayers and, of course, bill payers, but it also is a form of corporate welfare, because the only benefits will come to the better off from this policy. Meanwhile, the government's decided to ignore North Sea oil and gas, gravely damage the northeast of Scotland, undermine the employment of thousands of skilled workers in disagreement with their own unions, and import gas from overseas at greater cost with more carbon and more carbon miles. Mr. Speaker, this is a repetition in its own way of the PFI scandal of 30 years ago, in which the country paid tens of billions of pounds more than it should have done for public infrastructure, and a lot of wealthy people in the City of London, now resident in overseas countries, made out like bandits. John Maynard Keynes in 1919 wrote a little book called The Economic Consequences of the Peace, about the disastrous effects of the Treaty of Versailles and the demands it made for payment from the other side in the First World War. I'm not suggesting for a second there's any comparison between these times and then in Weimar Germany and the rest of it, but I will say that we are facing severe economic constraints coming out of energy prices, and therefore I ask the Leader whether we can have a debate on the economic consequences of the Energy Secretary.
Leader of the House.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Speaker. Shall I first of all say the Shadow Leader has clearly had his Weetabix this morning. Secondly, can I wish through you, Mr. Speaker, everyone well celebrating Birds Night this Sunday coming. And also, Mr. Speaker, this weekend is the annual RSPB Big Garden Bird Watch, when the RSPB asks people to observe their gardens for an hour and count the number of birds that they see. I understand, however, Mr. Speaker, that those on the official opposition benches have been warned not to take part by the Leader of the Opposition, who says they should be spending less time watching the bird table and more time looking at the shadow cabinet table. There's clearly concern, Mr. Speaker, about more migration from her party to join the lesser spotted member for Clacton. But surely, Mr. Speaker, but surely, Mr. Speaker, there is a limit to the number of cuckoos that will fit into the Remain reform nest. In terms of other things that have happened this week, Mr. Speaker, before I get to the remarks of the honourable gentleman, we have announced a consultation on further measures to keep children safe online. This will consider the options of banning social media for children below a certain age and raising the digital age of consent. We're committed to keeping children and young people safe online, and colleagues on both sides of the House will have heard from their constituents on this matter, and the Government is listening to those concerns. The Government also published the Water White Paper, setting out a new vision for water and transforming the water system for good. The paper sets out clear powers for a new regulator, delivering tougher oversight and stronger accountability for water companies, an issue raised with me consistently at Business Questions. And we also published the Warm Homes Plan, and we're doubling down on support for home upgrades and have set out our plans to help households and support thousands through more clean energy jobs. In response to the remarks of the Shadow Leader of the House, I certainly congratulate his constituency on the developments in higher education, but I have to say, maybe not quite as much this morning, but he is a man who hides his light under a bushel, because he has played a huge role. I know he has played a huge role in these developments in higher education in his constituency, and we should recognise that. In terms of his remarks on renewable energy, when he says no one disputes the importance of green energy, I think that's stretching a point a bit. It's not simply members of Reform, but there are still members in his own party who dispute the importance of green benefits, jobs. In terms of the benefit to the better off, I would remind him that every household will benefit from a £150 cut to energy bills. And the other side of that is not just households who will benefit, but there will be thousands of green jobs, not least in my own constituency and in my own region. But finally, Mr. Speaker, I welcome his conversion, perhaps belatedly, to Keynesianism. It's perhaps another sign of not fitting quite in with the mainstream of his own party.
Warinder, Juss.
Mr. Speaker, for the past 9 years, St Chad and St Mark Church in my Wolverhampton West constituency has welcomed Iranian refugees into their congregation who have fled the persecution of the oppressive Iranian regime. And last week we heard both the Foreign Secretary and the Prime Minister spoke of the total abhorrence at the killings, the violence and the repression that protesters in Iran have recently been subjected to. Mr. Speaker, this has mainly been by the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, who have also intimidated and harassed dissidents abroad. So when will this government prescribe and ban the IRGC as a terrorist organisation, as other countries have already done?
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend is right to raise this matter. As we've said before, we won't hesitate to use the most effective measures against the Iranian regime and the IRGC. We've already implemented 550 sanctions against Iranian-linked individuals and organisations and placed Iran on the enhanced tier of the Foreign Influence Registration Scheme. The Foreign Secretary made a statement, Mr. Speaker, this week, and my honourable friend may wish to attend Foreign Office questions next week to make the point directly to ministers.
Bobby Dean, Liberal Democrat spokesperson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And before I begin, I do have to pull the Leader of the House up because he didn't respond to one of the critical points that the Conservative leader made, and I, for one, would like to hear what the Leader of the House has got to say about the feud in the Beckham family. St Helier Hospital, Mr. Speaker, is older than the NHS itself, sited in the heart of my constituency, and is crumbling. It was placed within the new hospitals programme, a programme set up by the Conservative government, but one which they totally failed to deliver on. And of course, this government put it on a new timetable, stretching out the delivery over the coming decades. Now, last week, the National Audit Office have done an assessment of how the government's performing on that so far. There is some good news to the government. They've said that they have put it on a more firm financial footing for the long term, but they do also warn of potential further delays, and in particular delays to those hospitals with RAC, with them looking set to miss their deadline in 2030 now. I've also heard, Mr. Speaker, that some of the Phase 1 schemes have not kept pace with the programme, not drawn down all the capital that's been allocated to them, and this could present an opportunity to other trusts, perhaps to do smaller projects in the interim, such as the extension of the emergency department that my local NHS trust is asking for, or possibly even to move out of Phase 2 into Phase 1 if they can prove that they are ready to go. Mr. Speaker, it's been about a year since we've had a substantive update from the government on the new hospitals programme, and this National Audit Office report last week presents lots of questions. So I wonder whether the Leader of the House can ask the relevant Health Minister to come to the dispatch box to answer questions that the NAO report raises.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The RAC replacement scheme has been folded into the new hospital programme, as the honourable gentleman acknowledges, a major government plan to rebuild and refurbish NHS hospitals. This will, we believe, give a greater return on investment, enhance digital technology and improve emergency performance. Patients and staff deserve safe modern hospitals and an NHS that they can rely on. The reality, as the honourable gentleman has said, is that plans were announced by the previous government without the money ever being there to pay for them. I can offer him a meeting with ministers to raise his constituency matters, if that is what he wishes, but also draw to the attention of ministers his remarks about the recent report, and I'm sure they'll be willing to update the House.
Naismith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Jono, Sam and the rest of the team at the Goat Sports Bar in Nantwich have breathed new life into this part of the town. Unfortunately, last month, Jono's stepdad suffered a cardiac arrest while in the bar and tragically passed away. Now, the team at Goat are leading efforts to turn that tragedy into something positive by fundraising for defibrillators in the town, having already raised enough for 6 defibrillators and having a further 1 defibrillator directly donated. Will the Leader of the House join me in commending their efforts, and will he also encourage people and services across Crewe and Nantwich to support this effort to save lives.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will join my honourable friend in commending the work of the Goat Sports Bar and their fundraising efforts after this tragic loss. Our community AED fund has delivered thousands of new AEDs to local communities recently. But as always, local communities are best placed to take the lead in providing them where they are most needed. I think this will be a very good topic for a Westminster Hall debate, Mr. Speaker, because I'm sure colleagues across the House will share my honourable friend's concerns.
Chair of the Backbench Committee, Bob Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And as you all know, Mr. Speaker, reform in this House occasionally moves very slowly. So I do thank the Leader of the House for confirming that the experiment on the dealing with Estimates Day debates, which started in 2018, will now be confirmed going forward in the future. And I'd be grateful if the Leader could give us early warning of when the Estimates Day debates will be this year so that we can do the process of allocating the debates. In addition to the business that the Leader has announced, in Westminster Hall next Tuesday there'll be a debate on UK bus manufacturing. On Thursday there'll be a debate on non-recognition of Russian-occupied territories of Ukraine, followed by a debate on protecting and restoring river habitats. On Tuesday, the 3rd of February, in Westminster Hall, there'll be a debate on town and city centre safety. On Thursday, the 5th of February, there will be a debate on secondary breast cancer and a further debate, which we'll announce next week. Now, Mr. Speaker, we have a queue now of debates for the Chamber, which will take us to the summer recess. We have a queue of debates for Westminster Hall debates on a Tuesday that will take us to the Whitsun recess. And we're processing those debates as fast as we can. So any time that the Leader can allocate to us, we will fill as appropriate. Now, Mr. Speaker, it's been drawn to my attention this week that a company called Al Mizrah TV have been operating in this country for 10 years. They are owned by the Houthis, a proscribed organisation in the United States. And there is a risk that these people are using the opportunity to avoid our visa system, to launder money, and also encourage terrorist activities in this country. This is a serious concern, obviously, for national security. So I would ask the Leader to encourage the Security Minister to come and give us a statement on what action is going to be taken to make sure that this company is in compliance with our rules and regulations, and indeed, if it isn't, then it should be removed from this country and our country made safe.
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, can I thank the honourable gentleman for his update and for the work of his committee. I will confirm the estimate days as soon as I can. And also, I've heard his request for more time, and as he knows, we do endeavour to comply with those requests as best we can. In terms of the issue which he raises about Al Mizrah TV, we keep all evidence and potential designations under close review. We will consider targets guided by the objectives of the relevant sanction regime and the evidence which is provided. We do not presently prescribe the Houthis as a terrorist organisation, but that situation remains under constant review, and we continue to use our full diplomatic toolkit, including sanctions, to constrain their activities. I'll make sure, Mr. Speaker, that the relevant minister hears his concern and ensure that he gets a response from them.
Perran.
Whereas, Mr. Speaker, in the 2021 census, despite the disturbing absence of a tick box, over 117,000 Cornish people registered their identity by having to click Other and then type in Cornish. With the current consultation on the 2031 census due to close on the 4th of February, does the Leader of the House agree with me that this farce must end and that the ONS must add a Cornish identifier tick box to the 2031 census?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend is a stalwart campaigner for his Cornish heritage, consistently raising the profile of the Cornish language in this House, and I commend him for that because it is an important part of the identity of his constituents. I support him in calling for those who wish to respond to the consultation to do so before it closes next month, and I'm also sure that the Office of National Statistics have heard his words this morning.
Sir Gavin Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like so many colleagues in this House, I'm blessed with some amazing canals that crisscross my constituency that are maintained by the Canal and River Trust. Sadly, in two villages, in Brood and Penkridge, we've seen a collapse of those bridges. That means that local residents aren't able to use them and access them, which is causing a great deal of inconvenience. Could we have a debate in this House about the funding that the Canal and River Trust receives? Because, quite simply, it just doesn't go far enough to maintain these amazing heritage assets that are used every day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me join the Right Honourable gentleman in praising the work of the Canal and Rivers Trust. They do a fantastic job. I'll raise his concerns with the relevant department. I'm trying to work out exactly where their funding might come from, but when I do that, I'll raise it with the relevant department. But it sounds to me, Mr. Speaker, because of the proud heritage that we have of canals in our country, this would make an excellent topic, perhaps for an adjournment debate, so that other colleagues would be able to contribute on this very important matter.
Anneliese Dodds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Replacing Oxford's Kennington Bridge would secure critical transport links and unblock the Oxford Flood Alleviation Scheme. OFAS, named in the Government's infrastructure strategy, would protect jobs, homes and people. Can I ask the Leader of the House how we can ensure that departments work with each other, including in relation to the forthcoming Structures Fund, to support projects like this that have positive outcomes for a range of government priorities? And can we have a debate on this subject in government time?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I first of all congratulate my right honourable friend on her award in the New Year's Honours. It was extremely well received and very, very well deserved, Mr. Speaker. And can I also thank you for raising this matter. I know that she's been very vocal with regards to the replacement of the Kennington rail bridge. She's already raised this matter with ministers, but I'll be happy to facilitate a meeting with them to continue to allow her to continue to make her case for her constituents.
Wendy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The matter of West Midlands Police and the Maccabi Tel Aviv football match have been rightly raised in this place. So does the Leader of the House agree, though, that when police conduct falls away well below acceptable standards, as it did in the West Midlands, then elected police and crime commissioners really should be taking full responsibility, showing leadership, and must be held to account for their actions?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Home Secretary has been absolutely clear about the failure of leadership that has harmed the reputation and eroded public confidence in West Midlands Police. The ultimate responsibility for the failure rests with the Chief Constable. But also one would expect police and crime commissioners, though we have given a commitment on the future of police and crime commissioners, we would expect police and crime commissioners to step up to the mark there as well. But the Home Secretary has been very clear about seeking the power to intervene directly so that chief constables can be held directly to account.
Chris Hinchliff.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Lieutenant Run Hearts County has been looking at closing several village schools in my constituency, with a decision due soon on Albury Primary School. I won't ask the Leader of the House to comment on particular cases, but speaking to parents and the local communities, it has been absolutely clear that these schools not just provide a fantastic education, but are right at the heart of rural life. So can we have a debate on the importance of village schools and what more we can do nationally to support them?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for raising this important issue. He's a very keen campaigner on behalf of his constituents. This is an opportunity to perhaps raise it directly with ministers at questions on Monday, or perhaps to seek an adjournment debate on this matter. His local authority funding has increased by 8.1%, so it is important that local schools are prioritised in that. But I'll also ensure that the relevant minister hears his concerns.
Testament.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Changes to income tax reporting from April mean that childminders need to claim tax relief on specific purchases rather than the current 10% wear and tear allowance. Deanne, one of my local childminders, points out that wear and tear is a daily reality, and there are very few professionals who face very young children in the stages of potty training, sickness, learning to eat with a spoon and fork, drink with an open cup, and they put her clients and other clients put carpets and furniture through their paces. So could the Leader of the House speak to his Treasury colleagues about reinstating this allowance or introducing an alternative mechanism to recognise the real costs of providing home-based childcare?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Lady raised a very important matter, and I give her a commitment that I will speak to my colleagues in the Treasury to see what further support we can give to people working in that sector.
Lorraine Beavers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituent Katie Brett's little sister was brutally murdered when she was 16 years of age. Katie is campaigning for Sasha's Law to give victims' families longer to apply to the unduly lenient sentence scheme. It is the duty of the Labour government to make sure the rights of victims and their families always come first. As the Victims and Courts Bill progresses through the other place, will the Leader of the House help ensure that the government listens to those like Katie who are fighting for the justice for their loved ones?
Leader. Mr. Speaker, my honourable friend raises an important case, and I commend Katie's campaign. The murder of Sasha Brett was a tragedy, and my thoughts are with Katie and the rest of the family. We have invested a record £550 million over 3 years into specialist services to support victims and witnesses, but we're also clear that there's a lot more that needs to be done. She is right to say that the Victims and Courts Bill is making its way through the House of Lords, and I'll make sure that Bill Ministers and the Department have heard my honourable friend today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And since the budget, the hospitality industry has been very, very anxious. Now, we've heard from the Treasury and the Chancellor herself that a package is coming forward. So I spoke in the budget debate asking questions when this package will come forward. We've had urgent questions about it. We've had an Opposition Day debate. Even in Finance Bill number 2, we asked the Minister directly, when is the package coming forward? We still need those answers for pubs, restaurants, cafes, hotels, all inclusively, to know who's in, who's out. So will he ask the Chancellor to come to this House next week to make a statement on exactly this to end the anxiety in the hospitality industry?
Mr. Speaker, the honourable gentleman know the seriousness of this matter, because it's been not just a matter for his constituents, but for every constituency. The Chancellor has made it clear that we are looking at this. I shall put it this way, in the coming days, I hope, will get what he asks for.
Ewan Steinbach.
Mr. Speaker, my constituent Mary plans to retire next week. Despite applying to resolve her civil service pension in early summer last year, this has still not been resolved. I wrote to Capita about this immediately, but currently there is little prospect of Mary's pension being resolved before she plans to retire. We are seeing too many of these prolonged delays cropping up. Would the Leader support me on calling on Capita to clearly spell out an urgent resolution to this and all other cases it being seriously prolonged?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend raises an important matter and isn't the first member to do so. I understand that Capita have recognised the scale of the issue and is recruiting additional staff to deal with this matter. But I would urge them, with my honourable friend, to get on with it. I know this will bring little comfort to Mary and many others, but I hope that there can be progress. And should my honourable friend seek a meeting with the Minister to discuss these matters, then I'll arrange that.
Claire Young.
Mr. Speaker, when I make inquiries on behalf of constituents about delays at the Child Maintenance Service, I too often face a long wait for a response despite chasing. The longest is currently 4 months and 20 days. Will the Leader of the House allow a debate in government time on this issue so the Secretary of State can hear the harm this is doing?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honourable lady raises a concern that I know is felt by members again across the House. I'll ensure that the Secretary of State is aware of the honourable lady's concerns and, if necessary, bring forward an update on what our plans for improvement.
Alice MacDonald.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, last week I visited the YMCA Centre on Elsham Road in Norwich. They are doing incredible work to address youth homelessness. Will the leader join me in celebrating 170 years of YMCA Norfolk this year and make time for a debate on how best to support vulnerable young people in accessing safe, secure and affordable housing?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My honourable friend is right to champion the work of the YMCA Centre in her constituency, but I think we could echo that in every constituency where the YMCA have a presence. They do an absolutely fantastic job. We are committed to ending homelessness and have invested £3.5 billion over the next 3 years. But I would encourage her perhaps to apply for an adjournment debate, not only to highlight the importance of the work that the YMCA is doing, but also what other measures are necessary to support vulnerable young people to access safe, secure and affordable housing.
Andrew Rosner.
Mr Speaker, sir, nearly a decade ago, on the 17th of November 2016, the Leader of the House will remember that I asked a question on the subject of the resettlement and subsequent self-determination of the Chagos Islanders. The then Minister, Sir Alan Duncan, shamefully said, and I quote, "We do not consider that the right of self-determination actually applies to the Chagossians." So given that position was taken by the last Conservative government and that the current Labour government have gone further still, surrendering their home without consent, will the Leader of the House find time for a debate on the right of self-determination for the Chagossian people and end the bipartisan failure and injustice that has left an entire people without a voice for 60 years?
Leader.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I gently point out that Alan Duncan was a minister in the government that the honourable gentleman supported. But in terms of the Chagos deal and self-determination, the base is vital for our intelligence and defence, and our deal does provide certainty going forward and is supported by allies. But it's also going through this House. There is a chance that it will come back for further discussion and debate, and I'm sure the honourable gentleman will be able to make his case when that happens.
Jim McMahon.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Waspy women are still waiting for justice and for closure. The out-of-court agreement reached in December between campaigners and the government saw the DWP agree to a time-limited period to conduct a review. But the Parliamentary Ombudsman investigation took 6 years alone before reaching its findings and recommendations on compensation. Given how many constituencies and constituents are affected, can we have a debate in government time on the impact of this and urge the government to come forward with a firm proposal?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Secretary of State has made clear that he is looking at this matter as a matter of urgency and will bring forward his proposals at the earliest opportunity and give my honourable friend the opportunity to comment at that point.
Lincoln John.
Speaker, the news has broken that the first asylum seekers have been moved into the Crowborough barracks in Sussex overnight. The Minister for Border Security and Asylum stood at that dispatch box and told me that the Stanwell Hotel in my Spelthorne constituency would not be kept open as an asylum hotel for a minute longer than was necessary. So could the Leader of the House please use his good offices to encourage the Home Office to come here to make a statement on Monday, which I'm sure will be of interest across the House, to find out where the asylum seekers that have been moved into Crowborough barracks have been drawn from?
Mr Speaker, I will certainly draw to the attention of the relevant Minister the honourable gentleman's concerns. It is important that we make progress on this matter, and that does involve change, but it's important that members are kept up to date with that. So I will ensure that his remarks are drawn to the attention of the Minister, and I'll get him an update on these matters.
Tulips.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The House will be aware of the horrific case of sexual abuse that took place in one of my local nurseries in Hampstead and Highgate. The parents, who've shown amazing resilience, feel very strongly if the nursery has CCTV, then the perpetrator, Vincent Chan, wouldn't have been able to get away with these horrific crimes for 7 whole years. So could I ask the Leader of the House, will he help me in persuading the government that we need mandatory CCTV in local nurseries with secure local monitoring and restricted remote access for parents to safeguard the future of our children?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for raising this matter. She's doing an excellent job in advocating for her constituents on what is an appalling case. The Secretary of State for Education will be appointing an expert panel to inform new guidance for the sector on the use of digital devices and CCTV in relation to safeguarding. And this review will also consider whether the use of CCTV should be mandatory. The Department will, Mr. Speaker, welcome member engagement during that review.
Luke Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Residents in Sutton and Cheam are seeing the very real impact of the cost of living crisis. It may sound like a cliche, but they're seeing the impact in their energy bills, in their rent, but particularly in their food and grocery prices. Staples like eggs, milk, butter have increased exponentially, and the price of treats like chocolate have increased. 45 pence for a Freddo bar shows the scale of the crisis more than anything. Will the government schedule a debate to discuss how we can tangibly bring about solutions to the cost of living crisis, including consideration of measures such as negotiating a bespoke customs union deal? Whilst he will tell me that it's not in the government's mandate, it is definitely in mine, standing on a Liberal Democrat manifesto, to push that if I am elected.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The cost of living is a priority for this government. Tackling the cost of living is a priority for this government. It's not just a matter of picking one particular aspect of that. It's making sure that every department has a role to play in reducing the cost of living for our constituents. Then that is what they should get on and do. He mentioned energy bills as well as Freddos, and I just remind him that we have reduced energy bills by £150 for every household, including his constituents. In terms of a deal with the EU, the government's position is very clear. The Cabinet Office Minister spelt this out earlier today, and there will be ample opportunity going forward to discuss the merits of that deal.
Justice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I recently visited Community Dental Services in my constituency, which is supporting the rollout of our very welcome supervised toothbrushing in schools programme. As we know, dental decay is the leading cause of hospital admissions for young children. And yet, a number of schools in my area are declining to take part. Can I therefore ask the Leader of the House to find government time for a debate on how we can improve the uptake of this vital policy?
Leader. Thank you, Madam Mr. Deputy Speaker. My honourable friend raises an important issue, and she rightly points out dental health is of vital importance. We have provided £11 million in funding for local authorities to support toothbrushing programmes starting in April, along with a 5-year partnership with the private sector. She raises the issue of schools' involvement. Of course, I would encourage schools. It is a matter ultimately for schools, but I would encourage schools to make best use of that funding and to take part in that programme. It is so important to the health of children going forward. But to add further detail to this, Mr. Speaker, should my honourable friend seek an adjournment debate on these matters, I'm sure other members will join her in expressing their concern too.
John Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Has the fish supper had its chips? Because fish and chips so critical to morale during wartime that Churchill insisted they were never rationed. But now my constituent, Romano Pertucci, proprietor of the Central Cafe in my hometown of Stranraer, warns that this staple is becoming an unaffordable luxury. I appreciate the government doesn't set the price of fish and chips, but nonetheless it's a cross-cutting issue for government, whether it be through fish quotas, whether it be energy prices, whether it be the cost of hiring. Having tried and failed to get either a Westminster Hall debate in this or an adjournment debate, can I ask for guidance how we might air this issue here?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaking as the constituency Member of Parliament with the best fish and chips in the country, that is simply a matter of record, Mr. Speaker. It's not a matter of dispute. Look, it is pretty obvious, Mr. Speaker, that the price of fish and chips has gone up in recent times. There are many reasons for that. But everyone involved in that food chain deserves to be properly paid for the valuable work that they do. And I would gently point out, as a constituency member with a fishing fleet, the price of fish is often a very high price for the fishermen who go out and do still the most dangerous peacetime job. So let's not undersell the importance of fisheries. He says there are things that the government can do in their gift, and I'm sure the government will be looking at that. But should he seek a meeting with the Fisheries Minister to discuss these matters, I'm sure I can arrange it.
Dr. Becky Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is a concern that I raise the issue of FIFA deepening its commercial ties to the betting industry by letting gambling operators live stream World Cup games this year. Will the Leader of the House therefore ask the Department of Culture, Media and Sport and Health Ministers to review this urgent matter, given that severe gambling harms directly affect at least 1.5 million adults across the UK?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend raises an important matter. This is a worrying development, given the known link between marketing and gambling participation and the harms associated with online gambling. I'll draw this to the attention of the Minister for Gambling in the Department for Culture, Media and Sport and ensure that my honourable friend gets a response.
Jim Ramsey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This week we have seen at last the government's national security assessment and its stark warning that global biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse threaten UK security and prosperity. Given these catastrophic risks, can the Leader of the House explain why the publication of this report was delayed from October? And can we have a debate about what the government's doing to step up the vital preparedness for these risks, and whether they're ensuring that the nature and climate emergency is treated as a major national security priority?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sometimes the delay of reports, which is not uncommon, it's regrettable but it's not uncommon, it is due to the importance of the matter and important that we get it right. And therefore, if there's been a delay, as I say, it's unfortunate, but the report, as he rightly points out, is to be absolutely welcomed. Once that report has been considered, then I will look to find time so that members can debate these matters, given the importance of the issue.
Oliver Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate it. Burnley's local bus operator, Transdev, have increased the price of an under-19s bus ticket from £13 to £20 a week, which is a huge increase for kids, for students, for families and others. They've now lowered that to £18 a week, thanks to our campaign, but it's not enough. Over 1,000 people have backed my campaign to bring down fares and reintroduce a local Burnley bus ticket. Will the Leader of the House give us a debate on government time about the price of bus tickets in Burnley, and will he back my campaign?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend is an assiduous campaigner for his constituents, and I thank him for that. As he knows, we've capped bus fares at £3 until at least March 2027, but he raises the matter of the reality in local areas. I will raise his case with the Secretary of State and ensure if he wants a meeting, he'll get a meeting. If not, then he will certainly get a response.
Martin Vickers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. North East Lincolnshire Council has just received a planning application for 3,500 homes in the strategic gap between Laceby and my constituency in the west of Grimsby. When these developments are proposed, the developer usually says we'll provide a new school, doctor's surgery and so on, but that doesn't guarantee, of course, that the doctors or the teachers will be available. Could the Leader of the House get a minister along here to explain how, given the government's relaxation of local input into planning applications, this can be resolved?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honourable gentleman raises an important matter. These planning matters are best resolved locally, but I would agree with him that developers have a responsibility to the wider community. The government is very keen to ensure that the infrastructure is in place, including schools, and we are recruiting more teachers so that we've got the people to actually teach in the schools as well. I will raise his concerns with the relevant minister. If he wants a meeting to discuss these matters, I'll help him to get one.
Okay. Ian Lavery.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's the posties who deliver our post that keep this country functioning. They do an absolutely tremendous job. It's an essential public service, and at the heart of the service is the USO. That's a universal service obligation. It's a legal duty to ensure that delivery of mail to all UK addresses at price for 6 days a week with first class with the next day delivery. But you know what? The USO is failing. People in my patch in Blythe and Ashington are raging with the late arrival of important medical documents, NHS appointments, financial documentation and other important correspondence, causing huge distress. This is apparently as a result of a failure to address staff shortages and the prioritisation of parcels over post. Can my right honourable friend arrange a debate in government time to discuss the failings of the Royal Mail and the acute problems it's causing some of our most vulnerable constituents?
It's a late delivery. Come on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I join my honourable friend in thanking all postal workers for their hard work over the busy Christmas period? I'm disappointed to hear that some of his constituents are not receiving their mail on good time. Unfortunately, that's happening across many constituencies, including my own, and the public rightly expects a well-run postal service with letters arriving on time. I do know that Royal Mail pays close attention to issues raised at business questions and other opportunities in this House, so I hope that they have heard the message, but would also encourage him to apply for an legitimate debate on these matters, because it's not just a matter for his constituents, it's a matter for many other constituencies as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My constituent's 11-year-old son perforated his eardrum in July and was referred for paediatric ENT treatment. They were then informed of a 12 to 14 month waiting list for standard referrals and no indication of when the treatment might start. Understandably, they're very worried about delays causing long-term damage to their son's hearing. Surely the leader will agree this is a real concern and not the service that our constituents expect or deserve from our NHS. This is a workforce issue. So will he allow a debate in government time on addressing waiting times for ENT treatment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a matter of concern not just to the honourable gentleman, but I'm sure to the family and friends of the young man involved. It is simply the case, Mr. Speaker, that waiting lists overall are coming down, but there are particular issues in parts of the service. And we're doing our best to tackle that. We're also doing our best to recruit the specialists for those services as well. But I will ensure that the Health Minister hears of the honourable gentleman's concerns, hopefully to see what further can be done, but also if the honourable gentleman wishes to go into further detail, that he is able to do so at a meeting with the Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This week I met 19-year-old Jack Billingham, third-year Derby Rolls-Royce apprentice, who won gold at the National Welding Championships in November and is representing the UK at the World Skills International competition in Japan. Mr. Speaker, I had a go at virtual reality welding, and I will admit that Jack's score was a little higher than mine. At a time when the UK faces a national shortage of welders and other critical manufacturing skills, could we have a debate on how we strengthen the skills pipeline and support apprenticeships for good, skilled British manufacturing jobs?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the honourable friend and send my congratulations, I'm sure, on behalf of the House to Jack Billingham for winning gold at the National Welding Championships. We are already making efforts to support young people, investing £1.5 billion to deliver 50,000 more apprenticeships and 350,000 more new workplace opportunities. But there's a great deal more that needs to be done, not least as we seek to improve and renew the infrastructure of our country. I'd encourage my honourable friend to apply for a debate, an adjournment debate, to investigate further how we can promote high-skilled manufacturing jobs. Should be unsuccessful in that, I'll look to do so in government time.
Ann Davies.
Our Mr Llefarydd, the PMQ question yesterday from my honourable friend, the member from East Londonderry, rang a bell with me. Many of my constituents are waiting for their civil service pension, which is being administered by Capita. For example, Sarah Elizabeth Rees, who had to retire due to ill health in February last year. A year on, she still hasn't had her pension, and has nothing to support her or to pay her bills. We've written five letters to the relevant department. We've had one reply, which was really asking for confirmation of name, address and national insurance number. This really isn't good enough, and so I would ask kindly if the Leader of the House would allow in government time a debate to fully discuss the issues which have arisen across the whole of the House for all our constituents. Mr.
Speaker, as I said to my honourable friend earlier, Capita have recognised the scale of the issue and are recruiting additional staff to deal with the issue, but of course there are issues for particular departments as well, and I will draw the case and her disappointment to ministers in that department. It will be a popular topic for an adjournment debate, Mr. Speaker, should the Honourable Lady be successful in achieving that, because we've already seen it's not just an issue in her constituency, it's an issue in many others too.
Juss.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituent Ahmed, a senior skilled worker at Queen's Hospital, has not seen his wife Isra for 2 years as she remains trapped in Gaza. Ahmed applied for a spousal visa, but Isra has been unable to enrol her biometrics because the Gaza Visa Application Centre has been closed since 2024, and no safe route to an alternative centre exists. The original application has expired, and the second application faces the same barrier with no access to a visa application centre. Isra's home has been bombed, leaving her without shelter or basic necessities. Will the Leader of the House urge the Home Secretary to consider alternative arrangements such as the deferred biometrics so that those lawfully working here can evacuate their spouses from Gaza?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend raises an important case on behalf of his constituent. I understand he's already written to the Home Office, Mr. Speaker, about this matter, but I will be happy to follow up that with the Home Office to ensure that he gets a response, and should he seek a meeting with ministers to see what further can be done, then I'll seek to facilitate that as well.
Christine Jardine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. A number of businesses, particularly care homes in my constituency of Edinburgh West, have approached me with concerns about the salary limits for migrants. Migrants already in this country who have trained here, who have qualified here, are finding it difficult to reach those standards to remain. So would it be possible to have a meeting with a minister from the Exchequer, from the Treasury team, to discuss the impact this is having not just on those sectors, but on the economy?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll ensure that the Honourable Lady gets a meeting with the relevant minister so she can take this issue further.
Amanda Martin.
Mr. Speaker, residents and developers in Portsmouth are facing repeated delays from Council Planning Department, despite clear assurances from the Council to me that the long-promised green light for the Tipner East development, it has stalled again. Mr. Speaker, these delays are actively driving the growth of HMOs, damaging Portsmouth's reputation and holding back action on the housing crisis. Can the Leader of the House tell me what mechanisms are available to members of this House to hold Portsmouth City Council to account, force transparency over these planning delays and secure faster, more effective decision-making to build the much-needed homes in my city?
Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for raising this matter. The government, as she knows, is dedicated to ending the housing crisis. We've already delivered 231,000 new homes since the election, and our reforms will lead to the highest level in over 40 years. But that has to be delivered at a local level. I will reach out to the relevant minister, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that my honourable friend gets the information required on the specific issues she raises and discuss what further action can be done.
Shocker Adam.
Mr. Speaker, sadly on Boxing Day, Leicester lost one of its finest, Councillor Manjula Sood, MBE. Manjula Sood had been a Labour councillor for 25 years, worked for countless charities and worked so hard for community cohesion, but in 2008 had the honour of becoming UK's first Asian female Lord Mayor. But for me, she will always be known as Mrs. Sood, as my junior school teacher. So will the Leader of the House commemorate Mrs. Sood, and also maybe make time in this chamber for an annual debate where we can commemorate all local champions who truly put great into Great Britain?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I don't know where I get that from. Mr. Speaker, I certainly join with the honourable gentleman in paying tribute to Councillor Massoon, not just for her invaluable work for the local community, but also to education too. I'll certainly take away his suggestion of an annual debate so that we can mark the contribution of people like Councillor Massoon. I'll give it some thought.
Lee Pitcher.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last Thursday, my honourable friend, the member of Doncaster Central, raised the unacceptable waits for audiology services in Doncaster, with some people waiting years for basic hearing tests and hearing aid support. This goes for my constituents in Doncaster East and the Isle of Axholme as well. Long waits, repeat appointments, and people left without working hearing aids. It's not right, it's not good enough, and I will not accept this anymore. Will the Leader of the House ask ministers to set out how they are supporting the local trust to speed up assessments and hearing aid provision and to prevent people being left without the basics?
Leader. Mr. Speaker, as I have said previously, and indeed to a previous answer, audiology is a vital part of healthcare. I will ensure that the relevant minister is aware of my honourable friend's concerns and update him on what plans the government has to improve these services as fast as we possibly can.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I echo the Leader's Burns Night greetings for Sunday? Will the Leader join me as co-chair of the All-Party Nuclear Group in congratulating the Nuclear Industries Association and all those in the nuclear industry who ensured the success of the 5th Nuclear Week in Parliament this week, showcasing all aspects of the industry from new build to decommissioning and the supply chain, allowing numerous engagement opportunities for MPs. So can we have a debate on the benefits that the nuclear industry is bringing to England and Wales in terms of jobs and economic growth and energy security, so that Scottish members like myself can once again expose the shameful conduct of the Scottish Government in using their planning powers to block new nuclear development in Scotland to the detriment of my constituency and Scotland?
Thank you. Leader. Mr. Speaker, I thank the honourable gentleman for raising the work of the Nuclear Industries Association and the success of the 5th Nuclear Week in Parliament. The government supports, as he knows, the nuclear industry and has committed £17 billion for an ambitious nuclear programme. It is a pity that that ambition is not shared by the SNP, who on these matters seem to care little about jobs and little about greater energy security that are associated with projects like these. There will be ample opportunity, Mr. Speaker, as we set out the government's proposals on these matters for the honourable gentleman to raise his concerns.
Liam Cotton. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Melvin Hall Community Centre has served the community of Penge for over 50 years and was home to incredible community initiatives and charities like the Beckenham and Penge Gateway Club, supporting adults with learning disabilities and their families. Sadly, just before Christmas, Melvin Hall closed after Conservative-run Bromley Council imposed unjust and unaffordable rent hikes. Along with the fantastic Labour councillors in Penge and over 1,000 people from across our community who have signed my petition, we are now fighting to save Melvin Hall and keep it in community hands. Will the Leader of the House join me in calling on Tory-run Bromley Council to ensure that Melvin Hall remains a community space, and thanking everyone who has supported this campaign so far?
Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for raising this important issue and for his campaign to save Melvin Hall by keeping it in community hands. Their work supports adults with learning disabilities and their families. The work is admirable, Mr. Speaker, and I congratulate them for that. It's a good opportunity to remind the House that I often criticise the lack of support by reform councils for the local communities, but we mustn't forget the dreadful record often of Conservative councils too. Our new community right to buy, introduced through the English Devolution and Community Empowerment Bill, will give communities stronger powers to take ownership of their vital assets. But I wish my honourable friend and his campaigners all the very best in this particular campaign.
Martin Wrigley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We hear an awful lot from the government about building sovereign digital capabilities in the UK. We also hear this morning about Britain becoming Britain's biggest customer. And yet we see government procurement continuing to go to large American giant providers in the MOD,
in the NHS, even in the Cabinet Office? Will the Leader of the House make government time in this chamber for us to debate the meaning of what a sovereign AI capability is and how we might change our government procurement to enable our British firms to be able to bid for these intensely important elements of government mechanism?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd encourage the honourable gentleman perhaps to apply for an adjournment debate and hear from the Minister directly, because I think what he would find, I expect what he would find, is that the government shares his ambition for contracts and work going to British companies. It's at the heart of our industrial strategy.
Charlie Juss.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, my right honourable friend, the Shadow Leader of the House, mentioned PFI contracts earlier. I think it's particularly pertinent as a lot of those come to an end. This is impacting a number of schools in my constituency, in Bridlington and the Wolds, where work is suddenly not being done, costs are going up. One school's carried out a survey where it says it's going to cost £3.5 million to bring it back up to a safe standard, and a concern that the company that should be carrying out that work will declare itself bankrupt, leaving the school and the local authority with the bill. I suspect this is not an isolated case, and that members across the House will be aware of similar issues. So can we have a debate in government time on PFI contracts and their impact on public services?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the honourable gentleman will have just heard, it is a concern which is shared across the House. I would invite him to apply either for Westminster Hall debate or an adjournment debate, so that he and colleagues on both sides of the Houses can raise those concerns, because, as I say, they're clearly shared across the House.
Mr. Speaker, from the Flying Horse to the Bob, from Nicola Delvino to the Oxford, from the Spring Inn to the Moorcock. We're really lucky in Rochdale and Littleborough to have some fantastic pubs and bars, but many of them are worried about business rates. So will the Leader give me some assurance that we'll urgently get a government package of support to support our pubs and the pub industry, because then we can start saying back again in Rochdale, up the dale and down the ale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know that my honourable friend is a staunch supporter of local pubs in his constituency and has a remarkable knowledge of them. In the budget, as he knows, we did put £4.3 billion of support over 3 years to help pubs. But we do recognise, Mr. Speaker, that pubs are still worried, which is why the Chancellor is actively considering a pub support package to make sure that the right support is in place. And as I said in answer to someone on the other side of the House, I expect that that will be announced in the coming days.
Jim Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Leader of the House again for all his answers? If I can, I would like to turn attention to Mexico. There have been recent reports of persecution and intimidation of Christians, with some 376 incidents of the assault or abductions of Christians in Mexico in the last couple of years, quite worrying. These reports raise concerns about the protection of freedom of religion or belief. Will the Leader please ask the Foreign Secretary to set out what representations government has made to the Mexican authorities regarding these reports, and what steps have been taken to support freedom of religion or belief in Mexico? Thank you so much.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the honourable gentleman for his question. Our embassy in Mexico monitors the human rights situation in Mexico very closely, and we continue to engage regularly on human rights matters. That includes the rights of religious minorities and related issues with the Mexican authorities. As he knows, because we've exchanged on a number of occasions, the UK is committed to defending freedom of religion or belief for all, and I'll ensure that the Foreign Secretary hears his concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Earlier this week, I met with our colleagues and friends in our sister party in Denmark to express our solidarity with the difficult context that they face, but also to learn from some of their successful social democratic policies which we could adopt over here, including on immigration and the economy, one of which is a change to their pensions context to ensure that those who have worked in manual labour roles are able to take voluntary early retirement schemes while others have later retirement. I wonder if the government could consider this and other policies that they've done so successfully in Denmark to make sure we're looking after working class people in working communities like mine.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend raised a very interesting issue, and the government wants to ensure, obviously, that people can look forward to a comfortable retirement. And there's a strong history, Mr. Speaker, not least in the history of old age and employment-related pensions, to learning from other countries and best practice in other countries. We have the pension scheme bill progressing through the Lords, and I will raise my honourable friend's concerns with ministers, because he certainly raises interesting points.
Andy MacDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, MPs heard from some of the international NGOs whose Israeli registration to operate in Palestine will be terminated, and from the 1st of March will no longer be able to provide critical aid. In Gaza, the suffering and the killings have not stopped. In bitter winter conditions, delays are preventing critical food, medical, hygiene and shelter supplies from entering Gaza. Many still face starvation, and the birth rate has dropped by over 40% in the past year, and newborns are not surviving. And whilst Israel prevents the work of aid organisations, the UK continues its membership of the Civil Military Coordination Centre, which is meant to facilitate the flow of humanitarian assistance into Gaza, part of the State of Palestine the UK now recognises. So can we have a debate in government time to explore the exposure of the UK to this restriction via the CMCC, and what measures the UK can take, economic and otherwise, to ensure that these UK public-funded agencies can continue to deliver aid and help bring this catastrophe in the state of Palestine to an end.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We desperately need to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, as my honourable friend has said, not just on this occasion but on many occasions too, and I understand his frustration on these matters because he cares deeply on these matters. We do continue to press for the crossings to be reopened and restrictions on aid to be lifted. We are members of various bodies that can be used for an influence on these matters. It's much more important that we are engaged in these organisations so that we can work through these issues and ensure that aid flows as quickly as possible and in the quantities that are required. I will ensure that the relevant minister has heard my honourable friend and that he gets an update not only on what we're doing but what further plans we have.
Frank Mandel.
Speaker, I'm very grateful to what my right honourable friend has said today in response to a number of honourable members regarding Capita. Many have not received payments, including my constituent Mrs Costello, a former civil servant who retired in April 2025. Despite submitting all paperwork on time and receiving approval, she has yet to receive any confirmation of her lump sum or her annual pension. Will the Leader of the House make time for a statement or a debate on this matter, given the unacceptable levels of delays and uncertainty affecting Mrs Costello and many others like her?
Leader. Thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for raising this issue. He's a doughty campaigner for his constituents. As we've said previously, Capita have recognised the scale of the issue and are recruiting additional staff to deal with these matters, but I can sense the frustration, I hear the frustration from across the House, because although we can talk about making progress, that's of little comfort to Mrs Costello and others who are still waiting. So I will arrange a meeting for my honourable friend and others from across the House, if they seek one, to meet with the relevant Cabinet Office Minister to further make the case.
Jenny Riddle-Carpenter.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Earlier this week, students in Year 11 at Felixstowe School were told they wouldn't be able to continue their studies beyond Year 11 at the school because the school is not continuing with sixth form provision. As you can imagine, this has caused huge worry for parents and students at Felixstowe School. I have written to the Secretary of State about this and the worries that I have about withdrawal of sixth form education from our town. Will the Leader of the House help ensure that I secure this meeting quickly, as time is clearly of the essence?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. First of all, can I express my sympathies to concerned parents and students. Indeed, from time to time in my own constituency, we've seen similar issues arise. I do appreciate the concern and uncertainty that this creates. She knows that this government is committed to opportunity for all, and the vital importance of education is absolutely central to that. So I will ensure that she gets a meeting with the Minister so that she can follow this up as a matter of urgency.
Rendition.
Good morning, Mr Speaker. Councillors across Scotland are preparing budgets and considering options put forward from officers that will mean cuts to vital public services. In Grangemouth, local residents are rightly worried about the proposals to withdraw maintenance of the beautiful Zetland Park and the closure of the Grangemouth Sports Complex, removing swimming and leisure facilities. These proposed cuts would be awful for Grangemouth residents of all ages. Will the Leader of the House join me in praising my constituents as they stand up for our communities and agree that the only thing that should be cut in Grangemouth is the grass at Zetland Park?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr Speaker. First of all, can I praise the efforts of local people in Grangemouth. As he knows, council funding in Scotland is a devolved matter, but as I've said on a number of occasions, the UK Government did deliver the largest spending review settlement in the history of the Scottish Parliament, so there is no way for local authorities and indeed the Scottish Government to hide on matters such as these. Residents in Grangemouth should expect to see that record funding deliver the services that they need and they enjoy. So let me wish him and his campaigners luck in their efforts.
Martin Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I recently visited Hawthorne Housing Cooperative in my constituency, a registered social landlord since 1987, which provides homes and services to around 364 tenant members. Given this government's strong support for the cooperative movement and the work that housing cooperatives such as Hawthorne do in communities like Postle in my constituency, would the Leader of the House consider dedicating time for a debate on the importance of support for the cooperative housing sector?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I want to thank my honourable friend for championing the work of Hawthorne Housing Cooperative, and as we've said before, housing is about balance, and cooperative housing undoubtedly has an important role to play in that matter. We are considering opportunities to establish a formal framework for cooperative housing and have provided £20 million in support for community-led housing. If my honourable friend seeks further detail, then should he apply for an adjournment debate on this matter, I hope he's successful.
It's Swallow.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Pilgrim Hearts have been lifting homeless and vulnerable people in Bracknell Forest out of poverty and supporting them to rebuild their lives for 25 years. Does my right honourable friend agree that local charities and organisations like Pilgrim Hearts must be at the heart of our plan to tackle street homelessness? And will he set out what this government is doing to cut rough sleeping and poverty?
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I absolutely agree with my honourable friend that charities like Pilgrim's Heart are the golden thread that run through our communities. And I thank Elaine and everyone at Pilgrim's Heart for their 25 years of service to the local community. Homelessness, Mr Speaker, is a moral stain on our society, and this government will not stand idly by and allow that to continue, which is why we're investing £1 billion to give homeless people the security of a roof over their heads and get back on track to end homelessness for good.
Alan Thompson.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. On Monday, Ilkeston's #1 tourist attraction, the NatWest Hole, was cruelly divided in two by a metal pole, installed with no explanation. The hole itself is a beloved part of the fabric of our town, and defacing it caused significant distress to my community. Thankfully, the pole mysteriously vanished a few hours later, but I've written to NatWest to understand what happened here. Will the Leader of the House consider scheduling a debate on the protected status of local heritage sites and quirky landmarks so we can discuss whether historic England might grant the Ilson Hole listed status?
Very much indeed, Mr Speaker, and I thank my honourable friend for bringing this interesting matter to the House. The UK is full of incredible quirky history, and I'll make sure that the relevant minister has heard the member's point and also encourage him to attend to seek an adjournment debate on the issue that he raises, and I hope that NatWest have heard his remarks too.
Mr Speaker, the city of Dunfermline is at the same time Scotland's ancient capital and newest city. But as we start to plan for the future and what Dunfermline can truly become to fulfil its potential, I've launched a survey to make sure that local people have a great say in that, to give me their ideas about what they think think the city should be in the future. Can I ask the Leader of the House to first of all come and visit Dunfermline to see for himself how fantastic the city is, but also to allow time in government time for a debate on the importance of our towns and smaller cities across Scotland and the UK.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for that tempting offer. I shall see what my diary allows. I join him in recognising the importance of high streets and cities. They are often, as he suggests, at the heart of our local communities. High street regeneration is a devolved matter. However, the Scottish Affairs Select Committee currently have an inquiry on the future of Scotland's high streets, which I'm sure he is watching closely, and I hope that from that will be further measures that can improve high streets, not just in his constituency, but across Scotland.
I recently met with some volunteers from the Yorkshire Air Ambulance Charity, an organisation that provides a life-saving emergency service right across our region to 5 million people. Last year, they completed an average of 5 missions a day, an outstanding achievement. Will the Leader of the House join me in commending the valiant work of this charity? And can we have a debate in government time on how we can secure the future of such services?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank my honourable friend for bringing to the attention of the House the wonderful work of the Yorkshire Air Ambulance. Charities and their respective volunteers are absolutely fundamental to communities across this country, and none more so than air ambulances. I will ensure, Mr. Speaker, that the relevant minister has also heard my honourable friend's contribution and provide him with an update on what the government plans to further support such services.
Tom Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the last 20 minutes, BCP Council's Planning Committee have just approved the Cherry's plans to enable works to expand Vitality Stadium, with an agreement that there will be staff to marshal traffic and parking and a transport working group to abate the concerns of residents that were voiced so eloquently by Councillor Sherwin Carr-Brown at the planning meeting. Will the Leader of the House welcome these good pieces of news, and would he also commit the government to continuing to support football with the £551 million going into the Euros 2028 that England will co-host, but also the Football Governance Act?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I certainly welcome the news delivered by my honourable friend for the expansion AFC Bournemouth. He knows, as many across this House know, the importance not just of football in the life of this country, but the importance of football clubs in the towns and cities of this country. It is important that it gets the football gets the support that it needs, and the government is absolutely committed to that.
Josh Fenton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. A recent proposal now dropped to see 2 multi-academy trusts in my constituency, the Perran Allied Learning Trust and the Trinity Mat, merge, led to me getting over 100 individual letters and 2,000 people signing a petition in just a week. What can we do to make sure that parents' voices are at the centre of these decisions in future?
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my honourable friend for this question. It's important that the voices of parents and those impacted are heard, and it's to his credit that he uses his voice this morning to raise their concerns. When trusts explore a voluntary transfer, they are expected to engage with parents in the wider community in an open and meaningful way. So I hope that the Trust has heard my honourable friend's remarks this morning, and if he wishes to make his case further, I'll ensure that he gets a meeting with the relevant minister.
Right, we'll let the front benches change over.